Hey everyone, how's it going? JasperSnail here. Today I am making a beginner's guide video. I have had a lot of friends and requests recently from people wanting just some tips and advice on the game in general. So I thought I would start from the very beginning for those who are just starting off in terms of learning how to build deck, understanding variety and composition, just as a free-to-play player, how to spend your gold, and just then the basics of gameplay. We'll go over all these things in this video, and we'll go over more advanced topics as episodes release. So let's get into it. So starting off, this count has just finished the tutorial. So we're gonna open up our free chest and see what we get. So we get a bit of gold, a couple of gems, a bomber, some goblins, and we get some arrows. Now, I think as a starting statement, the gems here are the paid, real money stuff. The gems basically allow you to buy chests, like big chests and gold, which essentially allow you to progress your account further at a quicker rate. However, the game is completely free to play, and this is an option. If you want to spend a little bit of money, you can. However, on this account, I will not be spending any money. This is completely free to play. Now, looking at the cards we were given, we have a battle deck, and the battle deck will be default consisting of basically these cards. I think the witch here will vary depending because it's an epic. You have different levels of cards, like you have the commons. So the commons are grey, and you can see here that the rarity is a common. You have the rares, which are yellow, and this one is a spell. And you have epics, which are purple, and then you have legendaries, which are like a glowy legendary color. Now, there are a lot of cards to go through, and we will not be really discussing many of these to begin with. What I'm going to do right now is just to say that you do get a limited amount of gold, because the gold you get are from winning and from opening chests and donating, which we will get to in a little bit. Now, you want to focus your gold into the cards that your deck playstyle that you find. So you'll experiment with a few different decks, and then when you find one you like, you'll want to start investing your gold into leveling those cards up specifically. So I'm not even going to actually. I will. I'm going to put the goblins in place of the bomber, just because I want to lower the average elixir cost just a little bit. And there is a training mode here now, which I think is I personally haven't used this very much, but it allows you to hop into a game and essentially just burst an AI and practice your deck. Now we're gonna hop. I've only leveled up the knight one level from the tutorial, so we're gonna hop into a match. I'm gonna start unlocking this chest. You can spend your gems to unlock the chest quicker, but I don't recommend it. I don't recommend spending any of your gems until you are level 8. Until your player level, which is up here at the top left, hits level 8. And the way this is leveled up is by upgrading cards. When you upgrade a card, you will get given experience down the bottom left here. Now, generally, you will want to, obviously, like I said, level up the cards that you're going to use, because if you're not going to use them, you've wasted gold on them. So, I haven't upgraded any of the cards even though I have the gold for it. We're just going to hop straight into a normal battle. Now, hopping into battle, the first thing you generally want to do is let your elixir build up to around 9 or 10. Because if you place your card early like he has, I have more opportunity to attack second and make a counter push. Now he's grouped a lot of his units up, so I'm going to cast a fireball spell, which will get me a lot of value for the amount of elixir that I used, which was 4. You want to keep in mind that when you're playing, that you have a set amount of elixir that you use. So he's used arrows there. In fact, I'm going to let this baby dragon just hit my tower, and I'm going to start pushing them back. He used 3 elixir plus 4 elixir for the baby dragon. So I know that's 7, that's quite a lot. So I think I have a big push coming up here. I'm going to start a witch to support my tank. Deck composition is important in terms of understanding that you want to be able to build a... you generally will have a tank in the front, and you have some supporting units behind it to build a push. And the more elixir you've saved up from trading your elixir allows you to build a bigger push. And it means it will leave your opponent with less elixir to defend with, hopefully allowing your units to overcome your opponent's defense and get to their tower. So as that one's finishing up, I'm going to start my progression into the left lane. Now, I've already taken his king tower down to a very low amount of health, so I don't actually need to go for this second tower. I can probably go for his king tower. Plus, I know he's very, very low on elixir right now. So I'm actually going to start going out to the left lane. I'm going to pull his baby dragon with my tank. These are a bit more advanced mechanics. I wouldn't worry about it right now. But essentially, I'm trying to build a push into this left lane to take his secondary tower. Now, once you hit 1 minute remaining, it will hit overtime. Not overtime, sorry. It will hit double elixir for the duration of the remaining minute. If you and your opponent have both taken no towers or 1 tower each or 2 towers each, then it will go into overtime. Now, in overtime, the next tower that gets taken will win the game. So you basically, the winner is the person with with more towers taken at the end of the 3-minute match. But if there is the same amount taken, it goes to overtime. The exception is if you lose your king tower, then you lose. So if you lose your main big tower, the game is over. If you lose one of your side princess towers, then you still can bring it back and bring it back to a 1-on-1. Now, that was a lot to take in, but the second thing we're going to quickly talk about is reviewing your battles. Like it says here in the tutorial, you can actually watch a replay of your match. So we can go in here, and just here we can see we were versing like Matteo from the same program Team Clan. You can see his profile and what cards he's unlocked, all those details there. So you can actually go back and watch in double time or quad time or just normal time for basically how the game ensued. So I'm just gonna fast forward this through at 2 times. I don't agree with the way he placed 3 relatively squishy units right next to each other, because it gave me a lot of value for me to fireball him. Now, if he had have waited to see if I had fireball in my deck, he may have been able to avoid this, maybe not clump up his units, or wait until I use my fireball on something else before committing to that much elixir early on. And as you can see there, because he committed so much elixir to that push and I got so much value, you can see here at the top and the bottom are our elixir counts. And I have full elixir and he's down at 3 or 4. And he keeps spending his elixir here trying to just attack and attack and attack. That's not what you want to do. You want to save your elixir up and try to counter your opponent's cards. So try not to get too far behind and overcommitting your defense. And don't overcommit your offense either. It's about balancing that offense and defense with your cards. So I'm going to quickly talk about the different card types that we have. So we have our tanks, like you saw, our knight and our giant. Now some units will only attack buildings. Some units can attack both air and ground, and some units will attack units and buildings. So you can actually find this information within their um, within the troop stats. So you can see here that it targets buildings, and you can see all the other things here to do with like what range they attack in, if they're melee or ranged, how long they take to deploy, their movement speed throughout the arena, etc., etc. You can look it through these, and I recommend familiarizing yourself with at least your cards to understand what they do and what they're capable of. Now, the knight, for example, uh, a- is 3 elixir. You can see the elixir costs, and instead of targeting buildings only, he actually targets only ground units. So he will attack. While being a tank as well, he moves a little bit quicker, but he attacks units. So it's the trade-off. He's also a bit squishier. He will have less hit points from 1900 down to 726. So you need to be aware of what units attack what and what they do. So the witch here, she has a splash attack, It won't display that in here, but I know she has a small splash of... Oh, it does, sorry. She has area damage here of 52. It's a small area damage. And she attacks both air and ground units, and she spawns little skeletons um, periodically every 7 seconds. So there's different unit types, and understanding how to allow your cards to have a tank in front and then a supporting unit like a musketeer, archers, or a witch behind your tank, because a giant alone or a knight alone isn't going to actually do anything or very much. So I'm going to hop into one more battle here, and I'll try to display these tips here a little bit better. So we're going to hop into one more 2v2. Not 2v2, one more 1v1. We're versing Werewolf here. He is not in a clan, and like I said, I'm going to let my elixir build up here just to make sure that I'm... Alright, he's put a prince down. So I'm going to put a knight down to tank, and we're going to put a witch down as well. So the prince, he has a mechanic where he actually charges forward. So now, this is what I mean by not putting a tank down by itself. Like, you can see here that it's just going to walk across the bridge, doesn't attack my units, it only attacks buildings. I've misplaced my giant there, but I don't think it's going to matter. He's just fireballed my tower. Yeah, that's not going to matter too much here. Ideally, I would have had my giant placed out in front. It's out in front now because the other units were distracted by the tower. And this is generally how you would build a push, is that you would have your tank out in front, making a counter push from your units defending against their initial attack. And you can see there that it really leaves your opponent at a deficit of elixir, not able to do much. So we got a chest there, which is good. Now, I recommend starting off joining a clan. There used to be a restriction on joining a clan a little while ago, but now I would say that you just want to join an open clan that's relatively low on trophy levels and has somewhat decent donations. So essentially, when you're in a clan, we'll join one now, there is requests that you can do, and you can request cards for your deck, and other players can donate them to help you level them up quicker. You can then donate your cards back, and you'll gain a little bit of golden experience in return. So it's like a give-take system, and there's weekly clan chests that you can enter for more cards. We'll hop into one more battle here, and I'll wrap this up for this episode 1. All right. Now, again, we're waiting for 9 elixir, but these players seem to be placing out a lot quicker. Alright, he started with a giant, so I'm going to start with a knight in the back. So, placing your tanks in the back, or units in the back, allows you to generate more elixir as the push comes along. So I'm going to start a witch here, and I'm actually probably going to get ready to fireball his bomber and maybe one other unit that he's about to place. Okay, alright, he's gone with Prince on the left. I'm going to tank it with these little goblins, and I'm actually going to start a... So I've got a small push on the right here, and I've got the archers coming out on the right, and I'm actually going to have to defend this prince with my knight, because he's going to get a charge off, and that's really bad for me, actually. I didn't realize he was... Alright, so he's split the lane pressure from me, and he's building a push here. I don't think this player is a new player, so in fact I'm going to have to start a musketeer here. Hopefully it targets his musketeer. His bomber should die to my muskie, but his giant is getting so much damage off on my tower. I'm going to need to start playing this smart because I reckon he's ahead in elixir. Let's just see what he does. If he places... Alright, my right tower is very, very low, but I'm going to see what he does. I'm going to actually place witch on the right, and I'm going to start a witch push here just because this is my lower tower. If he places his prince, okay, he's going to fireball that, which I am fine with. I'm going to start a giant at the bridge with some archers, and because I know he's committed his fireball already, and his arrows are out of rotation, now this is getting a little more advanced again, but I'm quite happy that my giant is going to get to the tower relatively healthy, and we're able to kind of counter push this right here. Now if he puts his knight down, I'm going to back this push up with one more musketeer, just to keep the pressure on. Alright. I'm going to place a knight just in the center here. He can fireball my right tower at any time. So I know he's able to just take that out. And that giant is probably a little bit of an overcommitment on his part. Oh, that's a lot of committing to that right side tower there. So I'm actually gonna muskie this, fireball this, and I'm gonna probably arrow that as well with some goblins. So I've taken that left tower while defending my king tower because I know he's going for this 3-crown push here. So he has 17 seconds left to take my king tower. Otherwise, he essentially loses this game. Now, this guy was not a bad player. I don't think he was new at all. But we'll see. I don't think he's going to be able to come back from that, though. So that's match. That was a lot more difficult than I thought it would be, but we still got the win out. A little bit of smarts had to come in. We'll give him the thumbs up. Alright guys, that wraps up episode 1. I hope you enjoyed. We will probably make another video going into a little bit more in-depth strategy, micro, macro play next time. For now, I think it's just mostly about understanding deck composition, understanding spending your gold wisely, and just maintaining an elixir like lead where you can and making efficient trades. So learning how much a fireball costs being 4 elixir or goblins being 2, and just remembering it'll happen over time. You'll just remember their elixir costs. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know down in the comments below if you would like more of this or if you'd like to see something a little bit different, and we can go from there. Thank you for watching.